And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, today's a big old Friday, folks. Woof! The end of the week. We just had Thursday Night Football on last night, and what a great game. Man, oh man, back and forth, and we got to see Taylor Heinicke. How great was that? And there's a lot to break down with that, man, because, you know, he was the second string, folks. They chose Ryan Fitzpatrick over Taylor Heinicke for the starting job. Ryan Fitzpatrick goes down, Taylor Heinicke comes in, and he looked pretty gosh dang good, folks. So we're obviously going to be breaking down the game from last night. A lot to talk about. We finally saw what the Giants can potentially do. It was really, there was some great glimpses of Daniel Jones, of that Giants team overall. And man, oh man, it's just unfortunate they lost the game, put up 29 points. They didn't really get out to another slow start. So, you know, come next week, we can buy the Giants a little bit more. This was a big promising game for the Giants. And, you know, just unfortunate. They lose by, 2 points, you know, walk off or 1 point game-winning field goal by the Washington football team. Just unfortunate. So we're going to be breaking down that game today on the show, and then we've got our picks, folks. Our 6 picks, 3 in our locks, 399% guarantees. We guessed and reacted to the lines yesterday on the show. We've slept on those lines, and we've got some great picks for you. Ready to continue our success in week 1 into week 2, giving you the right information, the right picks on who to bet, and, you know, what's looking good and where the value is, because we were able to find some good value, some disrespectful value, and that's the best type of value, folks. No, the disrespectful type. Oh, you're going to disrespect this team? Well, we're going to make you pay, Vegas, and we're ready to rob Vegas again because we just did it week 1. Steelers plus 6.5, Dolphins plus 3.5. Chef's kiss, folks. Absolutely fantastic. And I think we got another heist brewing with us with these picks this week. So we'll get to those today on the show as well. So let's just start the show, shall we? No real stories to go over. So let's just jump right into the Thursday night game from last night. Absolutely great game. Went down to the wire. Multiple lead changes in the final 5 minutes. Real hectic, but Washington comes out on top 30-29, and unfortunately the Giants start 0-2, which is definitely not a great sign. You know, when you're losing division games real early on, you know, this is, you know, the NFL with their scheduling, not, you know, really kind of hardcore this season, you know, with the Dolphins, you know, having to face the Patriots week 1, and then the, you know, the Bills this week, you know, 2 division games right off the rip, and then, you know, having the Giants and Washington, both 0-1 teams having to face each other week 2. So one team, you know, had to go 0-2, and that is unfortunately the Giants. So some teams having to kind of go with the, you know, the division games right off the rip right here. And, you know, with this longer schedule, now we got 17 games. And, you know, it's kind of unfortunate that potentially the Giants season is potentially over by week 2. You know, the schedule is not getting any easier. Kind of 2 little bit of softball games kind of right off the rip. And they dropped both of them. I mean, Broncos, Washington, those are winnable games, folks. But, you know, the slow start against, you know, Denver, unfortunately, they lose, and they had a, you know, they didn't get out to the slow start here. They just, unfortunately, you know, were a little conservative, had to settle for field goals instead of scoring touchdowns, and that was really kind of one of the big narratives of this Giants team. They just settled for field goals a lot of the time, and we're going to get down to the plays and the stats and all that. You know, when we break down this game, but when we just look at their drives, you know, came out to a great hot start, a touchdown on their first drive, 11 plays, 71 yards, 6 minutes off the clock to go up 6-0. That was great. So, you know, they weren't getting out to that slow start like they did all of week 1. That entire game was a slow start for the Giants, and then they scored the touchdown on the last play of the game, and that's going to come back because, you know, I was a little disappointed in Washington that was the first touchdown of the game, right? The Daniel Jones run up the middle for the touchdown. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about that. Let's go to that play quickly because I was a little disappointed that Washington, they didn't watch film from last week. We even saw this play, folks. So let's run the play of the first touchdown of the Giants and let me see if y'all see or remember what we watched when we watched our film review of the Broncos and the Giants. Let's see if this play rings a bell. So here we go. 7 minutes left. The Giants are at the Washington 6-yard line. Empty backfield, 5 wide, folks. Okay, do you know what this play is going to be? Because when we were watching this live last night, we were like, hang on, I think we've seen this play before, and Washington got beat by it. So here we go. 2nd and goal, Daniel Jones, empty backfield, and it's just a QB draw, folks. Daniel Jones right up the middle for 6 yards for the touchdowns. But folks, why was Washington caught off by surprise, caught off guard here by this play? Because this is the exact same play that the Giants ran in the very last play of the game, folks. We watched the final drive in our Wednesday film study of this game, Broncos-Giants from week 1, and we watched the very last drive here for the Giants because we wanted to get a gauge of what this offense was all going to be about. It was the end of the game. They only had 7 points for the entire game, and, they used last minute and 20 seconds here. Even though it was a blowout, they were losing by 20. You can't win the game, no way. But, they kept the offense out there. They kept pushing the ball, and they did their offense. They did what they were going to do for really their entire playbook. They just put it out there on that last drive. So here it is, the very last play of the game in week 1. Here we go. 5 wide, Daniel Jones, empty backfield from the 4-yard line. What are they going to run? A quarterback draw. Daniel Jones right up the middle. Same exact play, same exact formation. When we look at the formation here from week 1, it's 3 wide receivers on the long side of the field, 2 wide receivers on the short side for the 5 wide here. And that it's the same exact formation here. 3 wide receivers on the wide side of the field, 2 on the shorter side, empty backfield. Daniel Jones hesitate, go right up the middle, right behind the center. So I was a little, disappointed that Washington didn't do their due diligence on the defensive end because we knew Daniel Jones was going to take off on this play. We know he's a great dual threat quarterback. We talked about it all the time, and we saw it absolutely last night, folks. Daniel Jones running all over the field. Sheesh. Do we have the big sprint play up? Where was Daniel Jones? It got called back. It didn't go all the way for the touchdown. But, man, oh, man, Daniel Jones was absolutely running the ball last night. And when we look at the stats, I mean, that's exactly what it was. He was the leading rusher for the Giants last night. 9 carries for 95 yards and the 1 rushing touchdown that we just saw. So, Daniel Jones' dual threat ability is still there. And we wish they would kind of use it a little bit more. But, we think this was a decent building block offensively for the Giants, and now that they are starting 0-2, they really have to kick it into high gear and have to start putting touchdowns on the board. The defense has to get a little bit better as well because, I don't want to disrespect Taylor Heinicke, but you really should not be letting Washington score 30 points, having them use their second string quarterback, and I don't think Taylor Heinicke should have been the second string. I really think he should have been the starter, and we talked about that throughout the entire offseason. But, he is, their second string quarterback. And they don't have elite weapons. They have Terry McLaurin, who once again showed out in this game. And man, oh man, Terry McLaurin, if y'all didn't really kind of recognize him as a A1 tier 1 wide receiver in this league, well, he just put the league on notice last night again because the man had 11 receptions for 107 yards and a touchdown. He was targeted 14 times. We know, Taylor Heinicke, Ryan Fitzpatrick, whoever's quarterbacking, I mean, you're going to go to Taylor Heinicke. He's your best weapon by far, hands down here. So, well done by Taylor Heinicke, still getting it done, still doing what he does out there. What were we just saying? Taylor Heinicke. Yeah, I mean, this Giants team should not have let this Washington team put up 30 points. So the defense is going to have to kind of, get a little bit tighter here. Offensively, like we've been saying, you cannot be settling for all these field goals. They only put up 2 touchdowns the entire game. Every other score were field goals, folks, especially in the second half. I mean, when we look at their drive summary right here, they scored a touchdown on their first drive, a punt on their second drive, a punt on the third drive, a field goal on their fourth and final drive. So 2 scores out of 4 drives. That's not bad, but, when you're putting in, field goals for a couple of those drives, that's where it gets, a little questionable. But then in the second half, they were firing. They scored on basically every single drive in the second half. First drive, second half, a field goal. Second drive, second half, touchdown. Third drive, second half, another field goal. Fourth drive, second half, another field goal. Fifth drive, they have to punt. And then the sixth drive, another field goal. So that was really the only thing that killed the Giants last night, settling for field goals, not able to score, in opponent's territory in the red zone. And that's just unfortunate. And then Washington just takes advantage. We're going to watch this last drive right here. Taylor Heinicke, holy moly. The fourth quarter, the man truly came alive. It was highs and lows. They went down quick, 75 yards on 2 plays for the touchdown. And then he throws a pick. And then he has one last chance at a game-winning drive. And then he takes advantage of that. And so Taylor Heinicke, you got to give the man credit for getting it done in the clutch. So let's start here with Taylor Heinicke and the stats and start talking about him. Here we go. So Taylor Heinicke slinging the ball all around the field. The man threw the ball 46 times, folks. Sheesh. He did play in week 1 because Ryan Fitzpatrick went down kind of early. So Taylor Heinicke did have, the bulk of that Broncos game kind of under his belt right here. So this wasn't, his first kind of game of the year, anything like that. But to still, have confidence for this man to throw the ball 46 times, especially of what we kind of saw out of Antonio Gibson in week 1, when he rushed for 90 yards against that Chargers team. Real solid, great performance. And, watching this game last night, we really have to kind of start talking about Antonio Gibson more and start moving him. He's trying to get into that kind of A1 status, or tier 1, I should say, tier 1 status of running backs where we really don't have them. The only kind of real tier 1 running backs in this league that we really acknowledge as true tier 1 running backs are obviously Derrick Henry. I don't even know if I could put Delvin Cook in that category anymore just because of all the fumbles and not clutchness that we've seen out of him for the last 2 seasons. Yes, his yards are impressive, rushing for like 1,300 every single season, having more yards every single season than the year previous. So I'll give him credit for that, but just the clutch ability. But tier 1s, obviously Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, all looking absolutely solid. But Antonio Gibson's trying to get talked about in that same category as well. So we're definitely going to be kind of focusing on Antonio Gibson a little bit more throughout this regular season because the man has just been getting it done. 69 rushing yards last night for Washington. Obviously, he led the team. He had 13 carries for 5.3 yards average per carry. We will definitely take that. And then he, the best stat of the game, 2 receptions for 4 yards for Antonio Gibson. So the man is a dual threat running back out here, folks. Give the man credit. 4 yards receiving. Yeah, yes, sir. But yeah, Antonio Gibson, man, give that man some credit. Loved what we saw. But back to Taylor Heinicke, slinging the ball 46 times. He went 34 of 46. So let's see what that completion is. Completion percentage is 73%. You can round it up to 74. It's 73.9. So yeah, I'll give him that. Man, oh man, 74% completion percentage. Absolutely fantastic. And coming up, absolutely clutch. We're going to watch those 2 absolutely clutch throws. I can't believe the man made them. And I won't spoil that, but yeah. So yeah, great completion percentage, 336 yards. The man was slinging it around. The man wasn't really dinking and donking. And then when it came, time, hey, he was playing great game managing quarterback the entire game. But the fourth quarter hit, they were losing the lead. The Giants were putting up field goal after field goal. Luckily, who was it? Kenny Golladay that dropped that long ball that really would have iced the game. Luckily, he dropped that. But Taylor Heinicke going in the fourth quarter and throwing the ball in the fourth quarter, just taking that leap, believing in himself and airing it out. So, the fourth quarter, he really wasn't playing game managing quarterback where, he was just letting the defense get the stop and let, the wide receivers and the playmakers make all the big plays, just delivering the ball safely and accurately. The fourth quarter turned up and Taylor Heinicke turned up the heat on himself. He's like, I'm going to start slinging this ball around. And that's when we have, when we look at the fourth quarter here for the Washington football team, scoring a field goal, a touchdown, and then another field goal, 3 drives in the fourth quarter, all coming away with points, getting it done there. He did throw the interception as well, when really this was the time to just ice the game. You already had a 1-point lead. There's 3 minutes on the clock. Just move the ball in safely and accurately. And what does Taylor Heinicke do? 2nd and 7, this man just whips an interception out. The Giants played it perfectly. Do we have the interception up? I'm pretty sure we do. We got a lot of plays up here. Taylor Heinicke interception. Where is this at? Right. Is it this one? I think it's this right here. All right, here we go. Taylor Heineke's about to just throw this wild interception right here. So, no, this isn't it. I might not have it up, actually. But, yeah, it was real bad. It was not good. Is this it? This is it. Here we go. All right, here we go. This is the interception. Here we go. 2nd and 7 here for Taylor Heineke. Sheesh, I don't know what he was thinking here, but, I mean, let's set up this scenario right here because they're up 1 point, 27-26, 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game. The Giants still do have 2 timeouts, so they can and will be stopping the clock after all the runs. 2nd and 7, they're at their own 22-yard line, so you don't have to throw the ball. You just want to run out the clock here, but, you know, Taylor Heineke being aggressive, the play calling being aggressive, I have no problem with that. You pick up like 2 first downs in this game is over. Yeah, you know, when you're at home Thursday Night Football, you have the lead, and you know this game's been going back and forth kind of the entire time. If you have a chance to kind of put away the game 100% by just picking up 2 first downs, either you do it running or passing, yeah, I'm gonna be aggressive and I'm gonna try and pick up those 2 first downs. So I don't care that, you know, they threw the ball on 2nd and 7. I care that Taylor Heineke was a little careless with the ball right here. So, you know, good and bad here by both quarterbacks, Daniel Jones, Taylor Heineke, and this was one of the bad here by Taylor Heineke. I mean, this defender here for the Giants was absolutely staring down Taylor Heineke and waiting to jump this route right here. This route wasn't even open. Taylor Heineke wanting to go to Terry McLaurin here in a clutch spot, but just stared him down. And, you know, this was his read. He was going to throw here regardless. And, you know, that's a bad decision that really almost cost him. It did cost them, but then he makes up for it. We know the Giants go down and score a field goal. That gives them the 2-point lead. And then Taylor Heineke leads them on an immaculate drive to win them the game with a walk-off field goal. And we are going to get to that drive in a second. Let's finish up some stats here, and then we'll get some more in depth in some plays here and what we saw and what we took away from the game. So let's stick here with Washington. Taylor Heineke, a real great performance just besides that 1 interception. Everything else was real solid, not dinking and dunking, great completion percentage, great clutch ability. It was great. Antonio Gibson, rushing for Washington, absolutely fantastic. Terry McLaurin, like we said, 11 receptions for 170 yards, 1 touchdown, fantastic. J.D. McKissick, second leading receiver for this Washington team, 5 receptions for 83 yards, great. He had an immaculate catch as well that we are going to break down. I do believe we have that play up. Logan Thomas, the tight end here for Washington, got it done. He had a big play here. Let's talk about him since we're celebrating tight ends this season. Logan Thomas, third leading receiver here for Washington, 5 receptions for 45 yards, and this was his biggest play and biggest contribution of the game. Let's get this up here. A little out of order on these plays, so excuse us while we just search for them. They're all up, so no worries. But where is the specific play? Right here. All right, here we go. Logan Thomas, folks. 2 minutes left in the second quarter. 2 minutes, 54 seconds. Washington is down 7-10, and they're at their own 26-yard line. Washington's at their own 26-yard line. Let's see Logan Thomas get it done. So here we go. Taylor Heineke fires over the middle of the field, and look at Logan Thomas, the big, strong, tall. What is Logan Thomas, 6'6"? I think he is kind of clocking in at 6'6" right here. Taylor Heineke finds him right over the middle of the field here, and just look at Logan Thomas, full extension right here over the middle of the field, knowing he's going to get hit by the safety, but still catches the ball. Fantastic. A great ball here by Taylor Heineke to just put it in the vicinity there for Logan Thomas to go up and get it. Maybe a little bit high, but that's what you can do when you got 6'6" wide receivers and tight ends. Use their heights. Throw the ball a little bit high. That's exactly where it needs to be, kind of high and exactly right on target, and it will either be a completion or it will drop harmlessly to the ground because these defensive backs, corners, and safeties, they're not 6'6", so they're not going to be able to go up and get that ball. So, Taylor Heineke plays it absolutely beautifully, and Logan Thomas, knowing he's going to take the hit, still is able to secure the ball. Now, why is this such a great play right here? Because they were able to go down and score off of this drive, a touchdown right before halftime. Logan Thomas makes this all possible. It's 2nd and 10, and they're at their own 25-yard line. Logan Thomas says, give me the ball. I'll bring you right to midfield. His best play was on a drive that resulted in a touchdown. Give the tight ends some credit out here. Logan Thomas, I mean, when we grade the tight ends on Tuesday's show, we're definitely giving Logan Thomas, I'll give him another A+. I think he had an A+ in his week 1 performance as well. I think I have that still marked up here. Let me check back in my notes. Did Logan Thomas get an A+ for his week 1 performance? What do we grade that man? Tight End University, everybody's getting credit. Everybody's getting grades out here. We gave Logan Thomas, we gave him a B+ for his week 1 performance, but he just got an A+ for this one catch alone. I don't care. Third leading receiver and your biggest play resulted in a touchdown. I'm taking that all day. Well done, Logan Thomas, and your A+ will be awaiting you on Tuesday's show. So Logan Thomas, an absolutely great catch right there. Fantastic. All right, what else do we have here by Washington? De'Ami Brown, the rookie, solid contribution as well. 3 catches for 34 yards. He was targeted 6 times, though, but, hauled in some catches right there, building his confidence up. And overall, just a good game here by Washington to move the ball, put up 30 points, nice clutch ability, and we'll see what Taylor Heinicke can do. And it's a little interesting that, Taylor Heinicke had this great success and decent success last week as well, scoring in the second half, I think like early in the third quarter to put them out on top. Unfortunately, they lose, the game still, and I don't believe they scored in the fourth quarter, or I think their last score was kind of like, 10 minutes left in the third quarter, something like that. So, they do have to kind of still start building drives on top of drives and putting good drives on top of good drives to continue to put up points and to be continuously competitive, consistently competitive as the season progresses right here. But this was a great look and a great showing here for Taylor Heinicke, and we'll see what he can do moving forward now that we know Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be out for a decent while. And watching Taylor Heinicke last night, it's like, why? What did they see in Ryan Fitzpatrick that was so much better than Taylor Heinicke? That really, because, Ron Rivera said this was an open quarterback competition at the beginning of, of the offseason and training camp and all that. But, we really knew it wasn't an open quarterback competition. As soon as Ryan Fitzpatrick got there, he really won the starting job. All the wide receivers were gushing over, the quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, of where he was placing the ball and his energy and his tempo and his, sling ability. We know Ryan Fitzpatrick is a true gunslinger in this league. So it's just real interesting how well Taylor Heinicke played, but they still went with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Even though, he's obviously old in this league, Taylor Heinicke's a little bit fresher out there, a little bit younger. Ryan Fitzpatrick, a lot of interceptions, never really winning the big games and winning games consistently or anything like that. And you got Taylor Heinicke, who last season went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady in the playoffs, only lost by one possession, had the ball last in his hands, just couldn't get it going. But now, here we go. You give him another opportunity. I mean, the man has only started like 3 games in his entire career, and they still weren't going to go with him as the starter of the season. So it's still a little questionable why they made the decision with Ryan Fitzpatrick when we just got this great showing by Taylor Heinicke. Clutch, accurate, big arm, not afraid to take the shots. It's like, that's like what Ryan Fitzpatrick does. It's like Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't do anything that Taylor Heinicke doesn't do. We saw Taylor Heinicke have the big arm. We saw Taylor Heinicke have that pinpoint accuracy when it needed. We saw Taylor Heinicke with the clutch ability. I mean, could you imagine if Ryan Fitzpatrick made some of these throws? Well, let's talk about some of these throws since we're talking about some of these throws right here. Let's go to this touchdown in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes and 40 seconds left when they took the lead 27-26. Back-to-back plays right here. Let's watch these. We've got these queued up. Is it right here? Right here. Here we go, folks. Starting at their own 25-yard line. They're down 6 points. They need a touchdown. 4 minutes, 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter, starting at their own 25-yard line. Let's see what they do right here, because if Ryan Fitzpatrick was making these throws, the headline would be Fitzmagic again. It would be Fitzmagic taking over Washington. That would have been the big story today, folks. Fitzmagic is back. There was never any doubt that Ryan Fitzpatrick should have been the starter. He's so much better than Taylor Heinicke. Ron Rivera is such a big brain head coach for bringing in Ryan Fitzpatrick here. We know what Ryan Fitzpatrick could do when he's the starter. Miami should have never went to Tua last season because of Ryan Fitzpatrick is so good. Look at what he can do. It would have been a Ryan Fitzpatrick slurp fest, and I would have taken part and talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick's big playability, we would have gotten in on it, but it's like, he's not the only one that does it. And, we saw what he did last week, week 1 before he got injured, never really moving the ball well. So it's just like Ryan Fitzpatrick gets this kind of like elevated superstar status because he's a backup, and that's all he is. He's not a starter in this league. So when he does kind of starting quarterback things, everybody gets excited, and I don't want to kind of take away from that excitement or knock Ryan Fitzpatrick or anything like that, but I'm like, yeah, it's a backup playing better than what he is. It's like, yeah, that happens sometimes. Like the Raiders last season, when Ryan Fitzpatrick was quarterbacking for the Dolphins against the Raiders and that big play really won him the game. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. It was great. But he's not the only quarterback that can do it. And, Taylor Heinicke just did it right here. So let's stop all the talking and get to the play right here. Here we go. They're going to score in 2 plays. They're going to win 75 yards in 2 plays, folks. Sheesh. So let's watch the first play right here. The first throw, Taylor Heinicke, empty backfield right here. Here we go. Drops back to pass, little bit of a pump fake, and then lets it fly. J.D. McKissic right here on a nice little wheel route that takes it all the way down to the 20-yard line. Woo! Yes, sir. Taylor Heinicke puts this ball absolutely on the money right there. Right on the money, in stride. If Taylor Heinicke does not put this 100% on the money, he is out of bounds at the 50-yard line. It's still a great ball, but it's not that extra 30 yards after the catch. That's why we stress so much putting the ball 100% on the money. And when we look at completion percentage, we always look at the film of that game. Was it dink and dunk? Were they airing it out? Was it 100% on the money? Or was it the receiver, putting in all the work like Mitch Trubisky? His completion percentage is so inflated because he had Allen Robinson literally sacrificing his body over the middle of the field to catch wildly inaccurate balls by Mitch Trubisky. Taylor Heinicke did not do that right here. Exactly on the money, 100% in stride. That carries J.D. McKissic another 30 yards. Another 30 yards. It's so fantastic. And that's the big play there by J.D. McKissic, the running back. So we have Antonio Gibson, the great pure runner, and then J.D. McKissic, the running back that can catch the ball. Great as heck right there. Well done by both Taylor Heinicke and J.D. McKissic, putting them in the position to go and win this game. Take the lead again. You're only down 6. You need a touchdown. And J.D. McKissic and Taylor Heinicke absolutely brought it right there on that one play. But it didn't stop there. It did not stop there. Everybody's looking around. They're like, damn, he just made a big play. We saw Terry McLaurin make some big plays. You know who wanted to get in the big play ability right here by Washington, seeing everybody have fun? Well, it was our man that nobody's heard of, Ricky Seals-Jones. One catch this entire game, and it was a big old catch right here, folks. Here we go. After the big J.D. McKissic pickup, now they're in the red zone from the 19-yard line. Let's see what Taylor Heinicke can do. The great red zone accuracy. Here we go. Play action pass, and Taylor Heinicke slings this ball corner end zone to our man, folks. Our man, Ricky Seals-Jones. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Can we watch this play again? Taylor Heinicke went, y'all need 100% accuracy on 2 passes? I could do that. 100% accuracy on these back-to-back passes in the 4th quarter, in the clutch when they're down 6 points, folks, in the 4th quarter. I mean, how much more clutch can you get, folks? Oh my, folks, I don't even know. When I saw this play last night, jaw dropped to the floor. Absolutely magnificent throw. Absolutely magnificent catch. We got to get a height on this man. Ricky Seals-Jones. What is this man? Because this man went up and played this ball like he's 6'4". Is he 6'4"? The man's looking like maybe 6'1", 6'2". Let's get his official stats up here and celebrate Ricky Seals-Jones. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Woof, the man really welcome to the league. I know nothing about this dude, folks. Ricky Seals-Jones. Oh, he's a tight end. Oh, he's a tight end. Tight end university, baby. Why? George Kittle, Travis Kelce. Why was Ricky Seals-Jones not invited to tight end university? That is the most disrespectful, blasphemous thing I've ever seen. Whoa, 6'5". Oh my goodness. Get it going, young fella. Sheesh. This man's been in the league forever, too. Damn, since 2017. Arizona, Cleveland, Kansas City, why have you not been utilizing this absolute stud? Wasted his talent right here. It took this man 4 years to finally go to a team that will utilize his talents. It took Taylor Heineke to utilize Ricky Seals-Jones's talent. Disrespectful. Oh, I think we found our new player, our new favorite player, Ricky Seals-Jones. We're handing out grades on a weekly basis here to our tight end university participants, and Ricky Seals-Jones just scored himself an A+. Oh boy, one catch. It doesn't matter. His only catch of the season, folks. He didn't catch anything week 1. He didn't get targeted week 1. He got targeted here last night, and he made the absolute most of it. Holy moly, Ricky Seals-Jones, folks. Go pick him up in your fantasy. Go get this man. Absolutely magnificent. This man just booked his ticket to tight end university, his admission. Hey, Ricky Seals-Jones, I'm paying for your tuition to tight end university next season, baby. Go get that education and continue to grow. I'm paying full ride. Full ride. It's like Scott's Tots from The Office. It's going to be Takes by Fans tight ends. TTs, baby. Takes by Fans tight ends. Get it going. Woo! I'm bringing every tight end to college next season, folks. Tight end university. I will pay for all your tuitions there. Woo! Ricky Seals-Jones, folks. Man, let's watch this one in slow motion to truly appreciate this. Woo! Oh my goodness, folks. Here we go. Ricky Seals-Jones, back corner of the end zone, full extension at 6'5", baby. That's what we're talking about, the 6'5", the 6'6" tight ends. Why we could never believe in Tebow at little old 6'2". Then 6'2" is not getting this done. If Ricky Seals-Jones is 6'2", he is not getting this done, folks. Woo! Oh my God! I had no idea the dude was a tight end, folks. Love it! Love it, these tight ends balling out. Logan Thomas, Ricky Seals-Jones. Ooh, Washington's got a cast of tight ends out here. Oh my goodness. Woo! Fantastic throw, fantastic catch, 2 feet in bounds, toe tapping. Tight ends out here toe tapping, folks. Who would have thought in 2020 tight ends would be toe tapping back corner of the end zone for the win, basically. At the time, it was for the win. Oh my goodness, folks. Ricky Seals-Jones truly getting it done last night, and that's Taylor Heineke, baby. When the time called for it to go out and get the game won, to go out and get the game done, 2 back-to-back impeccable throws, great catches by the second string running back. Great job by, what is this, the third string? Let's get the true disrespect up on the screen, folks. Let's see where this man is on the depth chart right here, folks. Let's get up Washington's depth chart. I would say this man is like the 3rd string tight end right here. Oh, he's only number 2. Alrighty. All right. Maybe they just had to update this. They had him like number 4, number 5. And then after last night, they're like, oh my God, but this man has number 2 tight end out here. So, wow, folks. Absolutely fantastic there. Whew. Damn. Ricky Seals-Jones, folks. Jays. Fantastic. Alrighty. So Taylor Heineke coming up clutch. And then the Giants go down and score a field goal. Unfortunate. So let's see what happens here after that great touchdown there by Taylor Heineke. Giants come out, they have to punt, and then, we get the interception by Taylor Heineke, and then we get the stall drive here by Daniel Jones, and this is what we're kind of saying here by the Giants. No urgency. We saw it last week. A little bit more urgency here in this game, getting out to a good start, but on this final drive, it kind of seemed like they just settled for a field goal, just settled for the lead right now, and left 2 minutes on the clock for Taylor Heineke to go down and win them the game. So let's go to this drive right here. Let's set it up a little bit right here. Okay, so here we go. Giants are down 1 point, 27-26. There's 2 minutes and 16 seconds left. They take over at Washington's 20-yard line because Taylor Heineke just intercepted the ball. They run the ball on first down. They run the ball on second down. Washington is taking timeouts. They are chewing out those timeouts. And now we get 3rd and 7. But it's like, why are you chewing out the timeouts? I get you want to kind of leave as least amount of clock on the clock as the least amount of time on the clock as possible. I get that, but you're at the 20. You get a touchdown. You really put the pressure on Washington. You score a field goal. They score a field goal. You lose the game still. So I didn't really like that they were super conservative here after the interception. A run on first down, a run on second down. I get it to chew up the clock, but still, you've got Daniel Jones. You've got his dual threat ability. You've got great wide receivers. You can't get it done in the red zone to ice the game. Take the opportunity when you have a chance to go out and win the game. Take that chance to win the game. And the Giants just didn't do that last night. No urgency by anybody. No kind of belief in anybody out here. Nobody wanting to take that last shot, that shot that either wins or loses you the game. Take that shot. But nobody takes the shot here for the Giants, and they lose, and kind of rightfully so. Be aggressive. Stop clamoring. Stop being a turtle. Stop being so afraid of making the wrong decision that you make a bad decision and not a rational decision. Just go out there and sling it around right here. You're at the 20. You're going to get a field goal regardless. Yeah, okay, you leave Washington with an extra couple of timeouts. Then you have to call on your defense. I mean, people have to step up. You have to stop playing, kind of worrying about putting players in a position where they would have to then step up. This is what they get paid for. This is what you practice for. This is what you play the game for, to win. You are out there, and you individually, an offensive player, a defensive player, you have the opportunity to make one play to single-handedly win or lose the game. That's what you play for. I want this opportunity. I'm sure Taylor Heineke was clamoring for that final opportunity to put them in field goal position to win. I'm sure the kicker was like, yeah, give me a field goal position. I'll take that opportunity and win that game. Why weren't the defensive backs and corners doing that? You know what we mean? So it's like, stop playing so scared offensively because you don't want to put your defense in a bad situation. Just go out and win the game. Put your defense in a great situation. So I just didn't love the overall non-aggressiveness here. And then we get 3rd and 7, and we're gonna get a Daniel Jones pass. Let's see what he does with it. What he does with this. Here we go. 3rd and 7 from Washington's 17-yard line. Here we go. Drops back to pass, slings over the middle, and Daniel Jones throws it about a yard short of the first down. Unfortunate. And they say, is this incomplete? Is this an incomplete pass too? Sterling Shepard, ball behind him, inaccurate by Daniel Jones, and even if it was caught, it would have been a yard short of the first down. So, bad by both parties right there. Well, really all on Daniel Jones for, well, kind of on Kenny Galladay too, Sterling Shepard it was. Bad job there by Sterling Shepard to not get to that first down marker. Bad job by Daniel Jones to not put it right on the money, and it's an incomplete pass, and it brings up 4th and 7. So, just unfortunate there. They got heated on the sideline a little bit as well. We're going to break that down. We see Kenny Galladay and Daniel Jones on the sideline barking at each other. And I've got no problem with this, and we're going to talk about this in a second as well once we're done breaking down the game. But, just tempers flare on the sideline. I mean, people are trying to win out here. I've got no problem with this. I mean, this doesn't show disrespect. This doesn't show, you not, obeying the leader and, all that. I've got no problem with the little kind of, tempers flaring, boiling over on the sideline. I mean, that's good. This is what competition is. People just wanting to win, and things get heated sometimes. I mean, it's all for the love of the game. It's all for the love of the sport. You come back tomorrow, everything's good, and even that's what they're saying. Even after the game, you're like, yeah, everything's good. Daniel Jones is like, after the game, yeah, me and Kenny are good. I love the dude. We've got respect for each other. It's just competition right here, folks. Nothing bad about getting barked at or barking at somebody on the sideline. I've got no problem with that. But yeah, Daniel Jones just incomplete there, and then they score a field goal that puts them in the lead for now. But now let's watch Taylor Heineke put his team in the position to win this game right here. So here we go. every play from Washington's game-winning drive. Let's see who stepped up at the biggest of big times, folks. Down 2 points, 29-27, 2 minutes left in the game at their own 25-yard line. Here we go. Only one timeout. Taylor Heineke, first ball up. It's just a dink down there to Antonio Gibson that slides on his own for only about a 2-yard gain. All right, then we get 2nd and 8. Taylor Heineke slinging it down the field and in a real bad position. Double cover, threw it high, threw it too high, but luckily it just falls incomplete. So that's why you can't get away with throwing it high, That's why you can't get away with throwing it high. Yes, it kind of gets batted up in the air, and it could get picked, but you got to make a spectacular catch, and usually defenders don't do that. But it brings up 3rd and 8. What can Taylor Heineke do right here? Stands in the pocket, dumps it down to Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson comes down about a yard short. It's 4th and 1 now. Antonio Gibson takes the ball 1, 2, 3 yards right there. Antonio Gibson, another clutch shot right there. Fantastic by the man. Give that man credit. All right, after picking up the first down, Taylor Heineke back to slinging it deep. Throwing to, is that Logan Thomas? It is. Logan Thomas for about 10 yards, 9 yards officially. Still driving, approaching midfield, not utilizing that last time out just quite yet. They throw a flag. They got Giants in the neutral zone. So they pick up the first down automatically now. Here we go. Daniel Jones on 1st and 10. Slinging it to Antonio Gibson on a little bit of a wheel route. And Antonio Gibson, this is J.D. McKissick. My fault. J.D. McKissick could not catch the ball right there, unfortunately. All righty, here we go. Back on 2nd and 10, bingo, bango, nice little slant route there to put them past midfield. De'Ami Brown, another clutch catch right there by the rookie. Very well done. Brings up 3rd and 5. Boom. Picks up the first down and more, and gets out of bounds because they already used that last time out, so now they do have to play the boundary a little bit. Now they're in great position right here at the 35-yard line, 24 seconds left. They throw a slant to Taylor Heineke. He brings it down to, or Terry McLaurin, I'm sorry. He brings it down to the 30-yard line. Fantastic catch there by Terry McLaurin, their best player. And then they spike the ball. Leaving 5 seconds left. They kick the field goal. It is no good. But what happens? They throw a flag. They throw a flag on the Giants for offsides. I mean, sheesh. Giants, every opportunity to win this game. Offensively, defensively, special teams. And they blew it after blowing it, after blowing it, after blowing it. The second attempt is good. Squeaks right in through the right upright, and they win the game off of that. So, man, oh man, the Giants had time and time again to win this game, but they squandered it because, once again, no sense of urgency. Now, we had the slow start out of the way in week 1 for the Giants. We had the no urgency game here in Washington. Now, week 3, we should be able to buy the Giants. Their offense should get everything right. The defense should get everything right. I mean, being down 0-2 should piss them off this entire week for a great week of practice, extra time as well, since it's a Thursday night game. So watch out for the Giants next week. Hopefully they have everything under them and they cleaned everything up, and the slow start has really only lasted for 2 weeks, and we're ready to rock with this Giants team from here on out. All right, so let's finish up the stats right here for the Giants, and then we've got like 2 plays left, and then we can wrap up this game. So here we go. Daniel Jones ends the game 22 of 32. Let's get that official completion percentage up here. Here we go. That is 68% completion percentage. We'll take that all day. 249 yards. Real solid there. 1 touchdown. Didn't turn over the ball either. Fantastic. All right. Daniel Jones, like we said, was the leading rusher as well with 95 yards. Saquon Barkley, a better performance than in week 1. 13 carries for 57 yards, 4.5 yards per carry, so real solid there. Definitely could have been utilized a little bit more out there because we know what Saquon Barkley is capable of, but, a game-time decision, so not wanting to truly push it 1,000%. But we're hopefully, Saquon Barkley is getting better because we remember, early, or late in training camp, midway in training camp, we were kind of hearing that Saquon Barkley could potentially be out to like weeks 3 or 4. So now that we're getting into like week 3 or 4 here, Kenny Galladay shoring up, Daniel Jones shoring up, Saquon Barkley shoring up, this is when we can start buying the Giants. Next week will be kind of the last test week, and then from here, well, really, we're really kind of assuming that next week they step it up, but I think we will give them one more test/buffer week in week 3. We don't want to, and they still have to put up a good performance and a good fight for us to really kind of buy them week 4. But I don't think we should be jumping off the ship of the Giants, really is what our main point here. Don't get down on the Giants. Yes, they're down 0-2, all this, but there's still plenty of time left in the season, obviously. Still plenty of time to catch the division. We know the Cowboys, they've got a tough opponent this week with the Chargers on the road. The Eagles have a tough opponent this week with the 49ers. So, I mean, at the end of week 2, everybody could be 1-1, and the Giants are just 0-2. I mean, you're right, still in it. So, don't jump ship on the Giants just quite yet. There's glimmers of greatness right here. They just have to get everybody 100% healthy, and the urgency has to increase. We hope they can do that. Saquon Barkley had a decent rushing night, 57 yards. Sterling Shepard, 9 receptions for 94 yards, only 1 incompletion, and we just saw that right there. Darius Slayton, 3 receptions for 54 yards and a touchdown. Kenny Galladay, 3 receptions for 38 yards. Kyle Rudolph, their tight end, 2 receptions for 25 yards. He had an all-right game. I think kind of really front-loaded in the first half, his offensive production, and then really wasn't utilized for the rest of the game. And they go to Kevin Rudolph because they don't have Evan Ingram. So overall, some real great bright spots here by the Giants and Washington. Their quarterbacks, their running backs, their wide receivers, a really entertaining close game that went right down to the wire. What more could you ask for? Alrighty, a couple of plays right here that we just want to close out with. So we talked about Daniel Jones rushing up the middle. Now let's look at this play right here. I believe this is going to be a big run here by Daniel Jones. Let's see what this one is. Here we go. Daniel Jones first half, it's a quarterback keeper. Now watch Daniel Jones rush here. It's fantastic. It's a great rush. We know he's got great speed, but that's not what we're focusing here on this clip. We know Daniel Jones is a big, beefy man, folks. Let's get up his official size. I want to say he's like 6'5", 230, I want to say, or 220, I want to say 220. Let's get that up quickly because this man is a beefy man. Like, people don't understand Daniel Jones is A dual threat quarterback, and B, a beefy man, folks. He's 6'5", 221, exactly, right there, folks. So you got that running at you, and this man just absolutely eats this hit right here, folks. Absolutely eats this hit. Design quarterback run on 2nd and 6, first half, first quarter, and he takes it for the first down. And look at this defender absolutely laying him out. We'll let this entire replay play right here, but the defender throws a big shoulder in Daniel Jones to force him out of bounds. Daniel Jones doesn't go down. He stumbles a little bit, but he eats the hit, stays on his feet. Defender goes down to the ground. That's Daniel Jones, folks. Big, beefy, great runner out here. So this is a whole nother depth that you can be utilizing here in your overall offense, and we really wish they would use this a lot more, and they use it a lot. I mean, we saw, 9 rushes by Daniel Jones, so they were still utilizing him very much. But overall, we need the defense to tighten up, and we gotta utilize his speed more in the red zone, so they put up more touchdowns and not settle for field goals. But we know Daniel Jones can do that, so Jason Garrett's definitely got to kind of retool this offense just slightly. He's right on the door of having a great offense right here, but you have to settle. You cannot settle for field goals. You must score touchdowns. All right, what else we get here? We got a couple more plays we just want to highlight quickly. All right, next play up. Here we go. Daniel Jones in the red zone right here. Here we go. High snap, dumps it off, incomplete pass. Okay, this is what we wanted to talk about here. Okay, here we go. Let's go talk about Chase Young, because remember, he had a roughing the passer penalty on Daniel Jones in the first drive that really set the tempo for the Giants to get in the red zone and score the ball and get out to a 7-0 start. But the first play, look, watch Chase Young right here. Here we go. Daniel Jones is going to take off and run up the middle here because the pocket is collapsing. He gets tripped up at the line, and watching this live, I praised Chase Young for this non-hit. We see Chase Young just standing right here, staring down Daniel Jones coming his way. He could have kind of lost his he could have lost his fundamentals and took a big shot at Daniel Jones that probably would have got flagged. I mean, he's primed to just lay Daniel Jones out here. But what does he do? He doesn't take a big hit. Just make sure he's down. So I had praise for Chase Young of not licking Daniel Jones and getting a penalty, and then like 3 plays later, he gets called for roughing the passer, which wasn't roughing the passer. Trash. So here we go, 2nd and 12, Daniel Jones, incomplete pass. Chase Young fights between 2 defenders and lays out Daniel Jones. This is textbook. This should not have been roughing, but they do call roughing. We can get a better angle from the back replay right here. So, personal foul, roughing the passer on Chase Young. Real lame, folks. Real lame. Watch him right here. Here he goes. Breaks 2 defenders. Bingo, bango, splits them. And then as Daniel Jones is falling back, throwing the ball, he takes him down. But you can watch Chase Young kind of lay off as he's bringing him down to the ground. Look, he puts his hands out so he doesn't land on Daniel Jones. But they still call it roughing either. Anyway, so Chase Young, he's really sound in his fundamentals. You really don't see him getting penalties like this because he knows how to play the defensive end position. And he knows how to kind of play the game of, making a big hit and then when not to make a big hit so you don't get the flag. So just real unfortunate that they do flag him, but well done by Chase Young. I mean, this man is not kind of losing his fundamentals, losing his techniques, and going wild and hitting these quarterbacks. The man is sound as heck, and he's only in his 2nd year. You got to give the man praise for that. All right, I think that is all that I really wanted to point out here. And that was Thursday Night Football from last night, folks. Absolutely great game, right down to the wire, entertaining as heck, and Washington walks away with the win. So, well done for Washington. We'll see what Giants can do come next week if they can finally get a win on the board. But big takeaways, Taylor Heinicke looked real good. I'm real excited to watch this man be at the helm at the quarterback position for Washington for the rest of the season. And for the Giants, don't jump ship and don't jump overboard just quite yet. We knew they were going to get out to a slow start. They're 0-2. Their offense is showing real good glimpses right here. Daniel Jones is still on the cusp of being really, really great. We just have to see the consistency out of this team from start to finish, week in, week out, multiple weeks, spanning 6-7 weeks. That's what we got to see here, and hopefully they can start that journey next week. Who do they got next week? They got a tough opponent. Hopefully they don't. I don't want to see this Giants team give them the Jaguars, and I know they've had 2 kind of soft opponents these first 2 weeks, but we got to just get their confidence up and their momentum up by the first win. So next week, the Giants, fantastic. At home against Atlanta. Exactly what the doctor orders here for the Giants. Look for them to get their first win come next week. All right, so that was Thursday Night Football. I guess we're not. Yeah, I don't really want to spend too much time on these quotes right here. So a little bit of a spat on the sideline, like we just were saying, between Kenny Golladay and Daniel Jones. They didn't take it personally. Nobody, it's not going to fester into anything. We get this quote here by Daniel Jones. Here we go. He says, quote, "I think he was frustrated with the situation, but I don't think it was to me or anyone in particular. We're all good. I love Kenny. I thought he played hard and did a lot of good things out there." So, once again, no hard feelings. And, him saying this right here, and this is exactly what it is right here. "I think he was just frustrated with the situation, but I don't think it was to me or anyone in particular. He was just voicing his frustration." I mean, folks, we talk about the work that is put in to 1 week, 1 down, 1 play of football. You train the entire week to get prepared for this one game. So, of course, things are, tensions are going to run high, especially when you're losing and you're not playing as well as you practice and not doing the things that you did in practice as well as you're doing in games and things like that. So it's just competition. It's just that nobody's getting their feelings hurt. These are grown men. They can take it. It's fine, folks. There's nothing to kind of, run away with the story. And then Ron Rivera has big praise for Taylor Heinicke, saying, quote, "He's got a little swagger to him and his teammates feed off of it. They really do." And that, I mean, we had, people coming out of the woodwork there on that last final kind of drive, on the last final drive, and then on that touchdown drive that we saw, the Ricky Sean, damn, I forgot the name. I can't forget this man's name. Ricky Seals Jones right there. Fantastic. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a little questionable that they went with Ryan Fitzpatrick over Taylor Heinicke, but now he's got his opportunity, and he's making the most out of it. We give the man credit for getting the win. Alrighty, folks, here we go. Let's end the show on our picks, baby. Now that we broke down Thursday Night Football, it did kind of go the way that we kind of thought. The Giants' offense was a little bit better overall than we thought it would. We thought the Washington football team would win. We took them -3. Unfortunately, they only win by 1, but overall they won the game. So, well done to Washington. But now let's start talking about our picks for Sunday's action, folks. Last week, week 1, we do six picks every week, folks. Last week, we went 4-1-1. The push was on the 49ers -8. Obviously, they were up by big, but they let that lead flounder, and they only win by 8, so that's a push. And then the one that we lost on officially was Vikings -4, and we won't make that mistake again. We're not betting the Vikings for the entire year. And actually, our best bet of the week is the team that is facing the Vikings. So, yeah. So we're ready to go 6-0 this week. We're ready to get it done. We're ready to win that money. We're ready to give you all that great information. And y'all don't want to be on the shame list come next week when we bet on you and we believe in you and we tell y'all to bet this team because we're feeling real good. Like we said, we do our due diligence. And when you don't kind of do your part, this is a two-way street. We have our faith and our betting on you, and we hype you up with our picks, taking this and this, +3, -3, taking the team. But when you don't do your part of getting it done on the field, we put you on the shame list here. So last week we had 3 players on the shame list: Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, and the 49ers defense all getting on the shame list. But we celebrate the players that do get it done, that, we did our research, our due diligence of believing in you, and then you went out and did it on the field, and we praise it here on the fame list. Xavier Howard, Derek Carr, Ulysses Gilbert, all getting on the fame list for helping us make our picks winners and make them hits, folks. So let's see what this week has in store for us. Here we go. If you're not familiar with our picks, we have 3 picks in 2 sections. The first section is the lock section. You could bet whatever the heck you want because these will definitely hit. These are locks, folks. You cannot lose. Then the 99% guarantees. We feel so strongly confident. We're still betting these. We're still feeling good. We're still taking the action. But there is one thing that maybe we could see potentially, maybe, possibly, potentially going wrong, that maybe potentially hinders the overall outcome of the game, that once again maybe potentially hinders our overall pick. But we still feel confident. So let's start with our locks category, and our first pick in our locks category, and I'm calling this the best bet of the week, folks. You heard it here. Here we go, and I think it's been climbing, so lock in the value when you can. But our first pick in our lock section is Cardinals -4. Folks, we just had our power rankings on Tuesday's show. We put the Cardinals at number 2 in our power rankings. We are not apologizing for that. We are standing very, very firm and tall. I don't think anybody agrees with us. We've been watching everybody else's power rankings come out, and they got the Chiefs and the Bucks and the Rams at 2 and 1 and all that. And yes, that is the easy way out. But folks, did y'all just see what this Cardinals team did? Sheesh, they put up 38 points. They held Derrick Henry to only 58 rushing yards. And if you're telling me that Dalvin Cook is better than Derrick Henry and is going to have more yards against this Cardinals defense, I think you're sadly mistaken. The Cardinals are also at home. So, sheesh. The Vikings absolutely floundered against Joe Burrow on the road. Joe Burrow's first game back. Wasn't there big concerns about this Bengals offensive line the entire offseason? Were they going to be able to, protect Joe Burrow? Why did they go with Jamar Chase, a wide receiver, first in the draft and not shoring up their line? What are they doing? And then the Vikings came out and lost against this team. They lost. How many sacks did they have against the Bengals? They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They had 5 sacks against the Bengals and still lost. 5 sacks is a great amount of sacks. And you still lose the game. And still let Joe Burrow kind of throw all over you. 2 touchdowns, 261 yards, only 7 incompletions. So you didn't rattle Joe Burrow, and you think you're going to be able to get 5 sacks against Kyler Murray, the escape magician, escape artist that is Kyler Murray in the dual threat game? You think you're going to bring him down 5 times? If you do, it obviously has no effect. So this Vikings defense is trash. They gave up 27 points to hobble Joe Burrow. They let Jamar Chase, who did not even catch a ball in the preseason. I know he caught one, folks. This is for dramatic effect. Who did not catch a single pass in the preseason games. They let him catch 5 balls for 101 yards and 1 touchdown? What? You're telling me this Vikings defense is good? good or this Vikings team is good? Absolutely not. And do we have to tell y'all and remind y'all what this Cardinals wide receiver core did against the Titans on the road, folks? I mean, sheesh, we had DeAndre Hopkins going off. 6 catches, 83 yards, 2 tugs. Christian Kirk, 5 catches, 70 yards for 2 tugs. Randall Moore, their rookie, 4 receptions for 68 yards, still getting it done. So, I mean, folks, they got weapons on weapons on weapons. They are moving the ball 38 points, 4 touchdowns by Kyler Murray. Give that man some respect. Give that man some credit. Cardinals absolutely blow out the Vikings. Vikings are on clutch. They turn the ball over at the worst possible times. Cardinals takes care of the ball. They just beat the Titans, who are way better than the Vikings, and now they are at home, looking to go 2-0 and rocking this season off right and getting ahead in the division, because we know it's a tough one. All teams are going to go 13-4. Every single team in that NFC West will go 13-4, folks. Mark my words. Cardinals are looking out to get out to a 2-0 start. Cardinals -4. They win by 20 easily, no problem. Vikings won't stand a chance against this team. Best bet of the week, Cardinals -4. Alrighty, our second pick in our lock section. We took advantage of the disrespect last week of Dolphins +3.5 on the road against the Patriots. And y'all know what the line is this week for the Dolphins. Dolphins +3 at home against the Bills. Oh, it's 3.5 now. This bet has been fluctuating. I want to say, I don't know if I was dreaming this or I truly saw this. I think I did. I want to say the Dolphins reached +4 at one point yesterday. At one point. And then by today, this morning, it went back down to +3. And now here we are, 1 o'clock Eastern on Friday. It is now back to 3.5. So we will gobble up that value. Yes, sir. Give me the +3.5. Absolutely. Dolphins +3.5 is our second pick right here. Folks, how many times are we going to cash out with the disrespect to Vegas? Because we're looking to do it again this week. Alrighty, let's talk about this game. Here we go. Dolphins, Tua. Oh my God, so much, controversy in the media. Tua's trash. He's so trash. How is he doing this? He's so trash. He's not, blah, blah, blah. Folks, we're getting Will Fuller back, first of all. So watch out for our deep threat passing game. Devontae Parker kind of got it done last week against the Patriots. We just watched him in our Wednesday film study. Great catch down the field and great accuracy once again by Tua. Tua's accuracy is impeccable, folks. No, I mean, he's as good as everybody else in this league accuracy-wise. The top accurate passers in this league, Tua is right up there with them, folks. Watch where he puts the ball. Watch where the man puts the ball. We watch it every Wednesday, so if you need help doing that, you come over to us and we will help you out with that. But Tua's accuracy is impeccable, fantastic. We're getting another weapon back offensively. Last week it was a close game, but what happened with the Dolphins? Their defense comes up big time. Xavier Howard comes up big with the fumble on the Patriots running back James White, I believe, and they win the game because of that turnover. Tua will be able to put up the points at home here, no problem. Bills, what was their biggest struggle last week? The defense, the Steelers kind of clamping up everybody. Josh Allen not being able to kind of feel safe in the pocket. We saw, the edge rushers for the Steelers chase around Josh Allen the entire game, and you're telling me that this Dolphins defense can't do the same, especially with these great corners and safeties that we have to lock up these wide receivers. So if Stephon Diggs isn't able to get open, maybe Josh Allen isn't the best out there. This Bills defense, is it anything great? I don't know if it's going to be any better than what the Patriots did, and the Dolphins found out a way to win the game. Now the Bills are on the road with the division game here, threatening to go down 0-2. Big pressure is on the Bills. We'll see if Josh Allen, with the fans in the stands, the crowd noise, we'll see if he's able to live up to the hype that he set for himself last season. They didn't really live up to week 1, and now the fans are calling for his head. That's what happens in Buffalo. If you're not winning every single week, the fans, they get a little restless out there. Even with Josh Allen, they're starting to get a little restless, and it seemed like he could do no wrong last season. It seemed like he was going to be the savior, a la the next Jim Kelly, where he could literally kill somebody, and everybody would be like, oh, yeah, he did nothing wrong. Why? You're arresting him for murdering somebody? Do you know what Jim Kelly has done for the city? He could kill 100 people. We do not care. He's good. He's fine. He's not going to jail. All 12 jury members say not guilty. Jim Kelly walks, slaughtering 100 people. It doesn't matter. Josh Allen was kind of living up to that last season. The fans were all clamoring for him, and now week one, everyone wants his head on a stick and says that this man can't play, and it was a one-hit wonder. So Josh Allen, a lot of pressure to succeed. We'll see if he goes out there or if he kind of plays with his head a little bit. Also, the Dolphins just got absolutely smacked. When I mean smacked, folks, I mean absolutely obliterated, smacked last year in the the game to go to the playoffs, the last game of the season for the Dolphins, where if they win, they are in, and they went to Buffalo and got absolutely smacked, folks. I mean, sheesh, you don't think that they've got this game circled on their calendar when they're at home and can take a little bit more of an advantage because they've got the home field advantage? And you're telling me that they're +3? Sheesh, absolute disrespect. I'm believing 100% in this Dolphins team. I believe 100% in Tua. Our weapons, our passing game will be even better than what it was last week. And this Bills offense and defense, I think, is a little lackluster out of the gate. Dolphins +3.5. Watch out for Tua. Don't buy the media narrative that this man cannot play football. Alrighty, and then our last pick in our locks section is going to be Rams -3.5. Alrighty, folks. Alright, our early Super Bowl prediction was Rams-Colts. This is what we've got. We do have the Colts winning the Super Bowl, though. But after week one, I did not like anything I saw out of the Colts, and we broke this down on Monday, folks. I mean, Carson Wentz truly not 100% getting it done. The run game was the best thing about the Colts. The run game was the best in the run game and in the pass game as well, which is really nothing you want to see. Michael Pittman Jr. did not step up to the occasion of being kind of the number one wide receiver, or really kind of theoretically he should have been the number one wide receiver here. On paper, Michael Pittman Jr. should be the number one wide receiver, but we see him only catch Michael Pittman Jr. 3 catches for 29 yards. We had Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines catching 60 and 48 yards. So Carson Wentz dunking to the running backs, relying on the running game way too much right here. So we need Carson Wentz to kind of start airing it out. They still don't have T.Y. Hilton, and that's going to affect the passing game again this week. They only put up 16 points, and I didn't like the way they were moving the ball and how Carson Wentz was looking out there with the dink and dunk. And then on the other hand, who's across the field? Who's playing opposite Carson Wentz for the Rams? Mother-loving Matthew Stafford, and we know what he did. The man was slinging the ball around, folks, in game number 1. I mean, first game with the Rams, oh my God, on a primetime game. Yes, they were at home, but they were still getting it done. 321 yards on 20 completions, folks, for 3 touchdowns. Matthew Stafford was slinging the ball around. Sean McVay was utilizing his new toy in Matthew Stafford. He's like, I knew, did y'all not know I could do this, that I could play call like this, that I can assemble an offense like this? I had Jared Goff with me and I got to the Super Bowl. You give me Matt Stafford, stop playing with my name. I'm Sean McVay out here. So we are big believers in this Rams team after week 1. Truly blew out the Chicago Bears. The Rams defense only held them to 7 points, picked off Andy Dalton once, made him force a fumble. It was only kind of Justin Fields kind of in the dual threat game, kind of, decently beating the Rams defense overall. Now Carson Wentz is nowhere near Justin Fields level athletic wise. So that's not going to be a problem here and an issue here for the Rams. So Rams on the road. Now, this is a big game for the Colts because they really don't want to fall down 0-2, and now they're on Hard Knocks. And we thought, we just saw that announced at the halftime of Thursday Night Football's game last night. Colts are going to have an in-season of Hard Knocks this year starting November. So that's a little weird. What team actively invites Hard Knocks in the middle of the season? Nobody even wants to be on Hard Knocks for the preseason. Nobody even wants to give away their training camp stuff. And now teams are actively inviting Hard Knocks in for the middle of the season. It seems real weird, folks, and it really kind of, I have a bad taste in my mouth now for this Colts team. So I don't know what they think they're doing by doing this. Bill Belichick would never take these cameras in the locker room, especially in the middle of the season. Sean McVay would not take these cameras in the locker room. Bruce Arians would not take these cameras in the locker room. But Frank Reich and the Colts are. I just don't get it. But we digress on that. But this Rams team, folks, absolutely believing them offensively, defensively. This Colts team offensively getting out to a slow start. I just thought Carson Wentz would have this offense under him a little bit better. But, dinky and dunking to these running backs. And then Michael Pittman Jr. really not kind of emerging week one, leaving a bad taste in our mouth here for this Colts team offensively. I've got no bad taste in my mouth here with Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. It's only good taste in this mouth over here when I'm talking about this Rams team, folks. So I'm believing 100% in this Rams. They go on the road here against the Colts. A huge, great test here for what this Rams team actually is. I mean, let's be real. Last week against the Bears were trash, folks. We know this. They've got no great weapons here. This Colts team has lackluster weapons since T.Y. Hilton is out and nobody emerged here week one. The running game here for the Colts should be good. It should be good. I've got no problem with saying that they could be able to move the ball, rushing the ball here. But let's see what the Rams defense did. Okay, that might not be great. They gave up 108 yards to David Montgomery. So running back by committee here may beat the Rams defense, but when they don't have to worry about Carson Wentz slinging the ball all over the field, they may be able to just hone in and focus on stopping the run game here. And maybe that's what the game plan was all along this week. So we'll see what the Rams come out and do. But when it comes to offenses, this Rams one is top tier, and watch for it to explode. It's also in a dome, comfortable setting, basically home for this Rams team. They were in a dome there in SoFi Stadium in LA. So, man, oh man, Rams in a dome. Sheesh. Watch out for Matt Stafford to still light it up. Rams -3. Alrighty, so our picks in our lock section are Cardinals -4, Dolphins +3.5, Rams -3.5. Alrighty, now let's move over to our 99% guarantee section. Feeling so great about these, but could potentially see one bad thing, maybe possibly going wrong that maybe potentially possibly hinders our bet. So here we go. 3 picks in our 99% guarantees, and I'm putting my money where my mouth is, folks, and this value even climbed in the last hour, and I love it. We will take the value. So we are going to put our money where our mouth is this week, folks. We have been talking up the Texans big and how they're handling and managing the attention and the distraction that is, unfortunately, Deshaun Watson. They are separating Deshaun Watson from this Texans team overall, and I absolutely love it, folks. I absolutely love it. I think they're doing an impeccable job of keeping the two narratives separate so the Texans can go out there and not have this monkey on their back this entire season, this nagging question. Are you trading Deshaun Watson? Are you really want 3 first-round picks? Do you really want 3 second-round picks? Is he going to jail? Is he going to be on your team? Is he going to play? Is he going to suit up? They are not even really, this is not even a distraction for this Texans team. They are doing such a great job with it, and that's why we are going to take the Texans +13 this week. Now, I don't think the Texans win this game. I don't think they're there quite yet, but I do believe they can be very competitive in this game. Maybe lose by 7, lose by 10, but competitive nonetheless. Now, let's take a look at what the Texans did week 1. Tyrod Taylor, first time with the team, once again put up 37 points, folks. 37 points. Now, they were at home and they faced the Jaguars. I get all that, folks. This Browns team is 100% better than the Jaguars. I get it. But I believe this Texans team offensively can be competitive. If Baker Mayfield gets out to not a hot start, maybe Baker Mayfield is thinking, hey, the Texans are coming to town. This is an easy win. Maybe, gets a little bit of ahead of himself here and he doesn't come out strong. Well, we know Baker Mayfield is not a closer and is not a clutch quarterback. So if this game is close, watch for the Texans to close it out close as well. They will not let Baker Mayfield beat them in the clutch. So, don't think the game is going to be close. Baker Mayfield can't win close games. Or Baker Mayfield can't kind of, we saw him last week against the Chiefs, get out to a hot start. But then once, the Chiefs started to come back, he kind of floundered a little bit, turned the ball over, couldn't get it done when he needed to. That could exactly happen here against this Texans team. They have the offense to keep up with the offense of the Browns. Tyrod Taylor slinging it around, 291 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. His running game, 40 yards. The running back by committee here by the Texans is fantastic. Mark Ingram, first game 85 yards rushing, fantastic. Then we had Phillip Lindsay, 8 carries for 25 yards, and we still have David Johnson, folks. They have great running backs right here. They have a great serviceable quarterback. They've got great wide receivers. Brandon Cooks, 132 yards. Pharaoh Brown, 67 yards. Danny Amendola, 34 yards, a touchdown. I mean, they are getting it done offensively. Now, defensively, they are going to have to kind of step it up. Yes, they got 3 turnovers by Trevor Lawrence, but those were all arid throws by him. So, once again, Baker Mayfield can potentially, get a little lackadaisical, a little arid in his passing game, especially when it's a close, tight game, because he's not clutch. We just saw that. We kind of officially set that as our narrative and as our take on Wednesdays, when we were breaking down the game earlier this week. We officially said Baker Mayfield's not clutch, and we've seen it time again that we can certifiably say that. So, if it's a close game, watch for, this Texans team to be able to create some turnovers. They've got to get more pressure defensively for this Texans team. I mean, they only sacked Trevor Lawrence once, which is a little bit of a a little bit of a question mark here for this Texans team. We know the Browns defense is very, very good, but when we look at what the Browns did, I mean, Tyrod Taylor, Patrick Mahomes, both dual threat quarterbacks right here, and the Browns just really weren't able to get to Patrick Mahomes. They sacked him twice, so they're not going to be able to get that pressure on Tyrod Taylor because he's just going to escape the pocket. So dual threat quarterbacks hindering this Browns defense overall. I think it's a close game, folks. I'm not saying the Texans are going out and winning this game. I think they keep it competitive. I think they keep it close. Tyrod Taylor in this offense. This is not a distracted Texans team. This is a solid, in the middle of a rebuild Texans team that does not want to lose and does not want to get blown out. Texans plus 13. I think it's amazing value, and we're going to believe in this narrative that the Texans are so sound fundamentally and just kind of not letting any noise and distractions inside that locker room. I think they got a tight ship over there in Houston, and we'll see it in week 2 when they go on the road against the Browns. Texans plus 13. Alrighty, our second pick in our 99% guarantee section. Man, these lines are fluctuating crazy, folks. I can't believe this. Literally, everything that we've been talking about today has literally, moved. I mean, Dolphins are at 3.5, Texans at 13 now, and this next one has moved a half a point, once again, in our favor, so we will definitely take that value. Here we go. Pick number 2 in our 99% guarantee section is going to be Saints minus 3. It was Saints minus 3.5. Now it's back down to Saints minus 3. Lock in that value when you can, folks. It moves. It is fluctuating crazy today. I've never seen movement like this. Just all across the board. It's kind of crazy. But Saints minus 3 here. All right, Saints on the road here against Carolina. But last week they were on the road as well. They weren't at home, and they still absolutely slaughtered it. Got it done. Sheesh, folks, sheesh. They put up 38 points, no problem. Now, the only kind of question mark or a little concern, not even a concern, it's just a thing that we saw that correlated, and we said it. So, Jameis Winston only throwing for 148 yards with 5 touchdowns, but we watched him in our Wednesday film study. Accurate as heck in the red zone. So Alvin Kamara can get them in the red zone. Jameis Winston can even get them in the red zone. We saw him, absolutely fling the thing 60 yards all through the air, 55 yards through the air, no problem for a touchdown. So we know he's got the big arm. We know he's working on his finesse in the red zone, so we can expect touchdowns and not settling for field goals when we talk about the Saints team, which is great. The defense only held the Packers to 3 points. Call it great Saints defense, or just call it, Aaron Rodgers not into the game, which we do know that is sometimes the case with Aaron Rodgers. We see his heart not in it, and he doesn't look good, and he only puts up 3 points and throws multiple interceptions. We've seen a couple of games there by Aaron Rodgers doing that, so that's not out of the realm of what Aaron Rodgers does. But either way, you hold the team to 3 points. I don't care who the hell is on that team. That's a great freaking win defensively. Absolutely. So well done there by the Saints. And when we look at what this Panthers team is, our concerns, they left the door open. Yes, they got out to a solid start, getting out to 16-0 lead here against the Jets, but they let them almost come back. Sam Darnold not taking the opportunity to shut the door, and that's what we watched on Wednesday with our film study. Sam Darnold not picking up those first downs here in the third quarter, going 3 and out on 3 consecutive drives right there, basically 3 and out, not moving the ball, not taking any time off the clock, and, leaving the door open for the Jets to potentially come back. So if you leave this door open for the Saints to come back, Jameis Winston is going to take that. Alvin Kamara is going to take that. Sean Payton will scheme to take that advantage, no doubt. So I can't buy Sam Darnold. Christian McCaffrey's the only good weapon here on this Panthers team. Leading rusher, leading receiver, classic Christian McCaffrey. So Sam Darnold dinking and dunking. The Saints are going to eat that up. And the Panthers, they only put up 19 points. I mean, is that anything great? I mean, we say it all the time. If you're not putting up 20-plus points, do not expect to win the game. And the Panthers, in a close one against the Jets, almost didn't win the game. So I can't believe in the Panthers and Sam Darnold to put up that many points. Jameis Winston is looking absolutely fantastic out here, looking to sling the ball around. Yes, the Saints are on the road, which isn't anything great, but they don't need home to be good. Sam Darnold didn't really take advantage of being at home last weekend. Couldn't really score in the second half. Couldn't really move the ball in the second half. They were at home. So, Saints -3. I have no buyability in Sam Darnold. He will leave the door open. If the Carolina Panthers get out to a 14-0 lead, it doesn't matter. They will not close the door. Sam Darnold cannot close the door on anybody. The man cannot prove to do that. So the man is 4 seasons in, has never closed the door on anybody. So, and didn't do it last week against the who they face. We just had it up. And they didn't do that last week against the Jets. So I'm taking the Saints here. I'm believing in Jameis Winston. The man can get it done. Saints -3. And then our last pick right here. And I know I don't know, folks. I don't know if anybody's agreeing with me on this pick right here, but I'm going to give this team another chance. It's not even a chance. I'm just buying into this team a little bit. I love their offense. So here we go. We're taking, for our last pick, we're going to take the Cowboys +3.5. And, of course, this one doesn't move any. I could have taken another half a point here, a full point. Give me 4.5. Sheesh. So this one doesn't move. Oh, okay. I would have loved Cowboys +4 here. But we're still sticking with Cowboys +3.5. This offense was so impressive on Thursday, folks. So damn impressive that I can't not take them here. I'm taking the Cowboys +3.5. Now, I know their defense, DeMarcus Lawrence is out, and that was a huge piece for them, leadership-wise, on-field talent-wise. I get all that. That's going to be a huge missing piece. What this Cowboys did impressive was, just being ball hawks, and we saw it in preseason, and it came out on Thursday Night Football last week as well. Just able to force those turnovers. Tom Brady, 2 interceptions. I believe somebody fumbled here. Yeah, Chris Godwin fumbled, and Ronald Jones fumbled. So they're just ball hawks here defensively for the Cowboys, but they don't always get the stop when they need it. They let the Bucs go down and have the game-winning field goal drive, unfortunately. But they are always surrounding the ball and have that opportunity to force turnovers. We saw it in preseason game number 1 and preseason game number 2, forcing turnovers there. They did it against the Bucs on the road. I think they can force a couple of turnovers here against the Chargers. Now, this Chargers team did a solid job against a good defense last week when they had to face Washington in Washington. They put up 20 points. Justin Herbert put up 337 yards, but he also threw an interception. So once again, we can see a potential turnover or 2 here with the Cowboys, and they will take advantage and score because we know the offense here for the Cowboys is the best thing about this team. Dak Prescott throws for 400 yards on Thursday Night Football on the road against this Bucs defense. I mean, we got to give credit to this Cowboys offense overall. Ezekiel Elliott should be able to run the ball a little bit better here. Zach Martin, the right guard, is back. I believe they lost another offensive lineman this week. Let me see if I can double check that quickly. But regardless, the running game should be back a little bit more since we know Zeke likes to run up the right side and all that. Lael Collins is out with a suspension, the tackle spot. So you get one one lineman back, you lose another one. Unfortunate there, but the running game should be able to kind of be very, very good. And what did this Chargers team kind of give up offensively last week? Kind of rushing yards. Antonio Gibson, who, we don't classify as a tier 1 running back just quite yet. We did kind of, we broke down the game earlier today and we kind of said, hey, he's emerging, trying to get into tier 1 status, and we've got no problem with that. But, Antonio Gibson rushed for 90 yards against the Chargers last week. So Ezekiel Elliott can definitely try and definitely put up around those same numbers right there. So if they rely on the running game, force a couple of turnovers, Dak Prescott, there's never a question with him. It's a potential there. And, this Chargers team, their offense is still a little bit of a question mark. Last season, never blowing out a team, losing those close games. That's why they got rid of, Anthony Lynn. Now another close game right here last week for the Chargers against Washington, and they win it. So they can win the close games, but it's still close games overall, never really blowing out anybody. So I believe in Justin Herbert. I think he's great. I believe in this Chargers team overall. I think they're great, but I think this Cowboys offense is really going to surprise people and give this Chargers team an overall run for their money. I'm getting this Cowboys team with extra rest, folks. They played Thursday. They had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 extra days of rest to prepare for this Chargers team. They were able to watch the Chargers game. I'm sure they were watching that game. Every player right there watching it live, seeing what's going down, seeing what's happening, seeing what they should be looking out for, seeing what they did well and shutting it down. Extra time to prepare here for the Cowboys. I think they iron out all their kind of injuries, and they come out and surprise a lot of people. I'm taking the 3.5 here by the Cowboys. That half-a-point hook is absolutely fantastic. So Chargers win by field goal. You still win the bet with 3.5 points right there. This Cowboys offense, I'm such a believer in it. They made me such believers in it in game number 1 that I believe it's truly able to carry over in game number 2 here with all that extra rest. And watch out for this Cowboys defense to kind of shore it up a little bit with all that time that they've had to prepare for this game. Ball hawks defensively for the Cowboys. Force a couple of turnovers, and we're going to take the 3.5 points. So our 3.99% guarantees are Texans plus 13, Saints minus 3, and Cowboys plus 3.5, folks. Secure the value when you can. Do not let these numbers go back down. I don't know if they'll go up anymore because they've already been going up all day. So watch the value, folks. Secure it when you feel it's right and make some money this week because we are trying to do that and trying to go 6-0. Alrighty, that's going to do it for us today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We are back live tomorrow, breaking everything down. It's a Saturday, so a little bit of a refresher show. We'll see what's developing the day before, games kick off. Anything that we need to change, anything that we need to kind of take a last look at, that will be all on tomorrow's show. But before we get out of here, last year we had these prop bets that we absolutely crushed, folks. Absolutely crushed. Points by a team in the first half. We were able to take advantage of it. Great point totals that we, disrespected by Vegas that we were able to take advantages of. But this season, they really are kind of putting a stop to that because these point totals have been crazy. So I want to kind of take a quick look at, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I want to kind of go over points by a team in the first half prop bets and see if we can find any great value here. So first team up I want to take a quick look at is this Texans team because we know that they can move the ball. They put up 38 points week 1, looked real good. So let's see what their points by a team is in the first half, and here we go. Texans points by a team in the first half is over only 7.5 points. Touchdown field goal, you got to give me that. And look at the odds here, plus 110. Take this all day long, folks. This is fantastic. You're telling me that Tyrod Taylor, he can avoid the pocket, he can avoid the sack, same thing that Patrick Mahomes did, and they ended up winning the game. They could do the same thing here, folks. The Texans can do the same thing. You're telling me they can't put up 8 points in the first half? I think that's nonsense. Hammer, that's value. But when we look at the flip side, this is where we're saying the value is getting wonky now. Over points by a team by the Browns in the first half is over 16.5. Now, if you were listening to us last season and still around this season, well, first of all, thank you for doing that, and I love you. But last year when we were looking at points by team in the first half, we never took anything over 13.5 because, we never took anything over 13.5. That was our cutoff because, then we're talking about 3 scores, 13.5, 2 touchdowns, bingo, bango, that's what we call. But once we're talking about 14.5, 15.5, 16.5, we're talking about 2 touchdowns and a field goal. I never do anything over 13.5. So just a little bit of a background here for these new people listening and watching, do never take anything. I don't care how sure you are, never take anything over 13.5, because now we're talking, three scores, could get real wonky, against a rushing team that just eats up the clock. It's not going to hit. So Texans over 7.5, I love. Let's see what we get here with the Rams and the Colts. Might be able to get something good with this Rams team because they're on the road. So let's see if they're under 13.5. We know Matthew Stafford can put up the points, no problem. All right, so here we go. Rams total points in the first half over 13.5, right on the cusp right there. Not bad value. Where the Colts over 10.5, once again, not bad value either. That's looking real good right there. Both of those I think are real solid to take advantage of potentially. All right, let's go to the Broncos and the Jags. This Broncos team should be able to put up some solid points right here offensively, force a couple of turnovers defensively, with Trevor Lawrence. So here we go. Broncos over 13.5. Interesting. They also knew this season you can do points by a team in the second half as well. They never really had that. It was really only first half. So Vegas is getting a little bit more cocky out here, offering the second half option. But over 12.5 points, or 13.5 points, not bad. Right on the cusp. I may stay away from that one. Teddy Bridgewater, we still saw a little bit of the dink and dunk, and now with Jerry Jeudy out this week, that's why we really couldn't buy this Broncos team, because of Jerry Jeudy being out and the -6. That was kind of, if we had to do a 7th pick, we would have taken that. All right, anything else good? Let's do the Steelers, Raiders. We know they both have the pieces offensively to put up a lot of points. Let's see what their lines are at. All right, so points by the Raiders in the first half over 9.5. That's not bad. Touchdown, field goal. Big offense ability right there. Bills put up 10 points. They were at home, but they put up 10 points in the first half, game 1 against the Steelers. And then the Steelers is at over 13.5. So they're playing that cusp. And I don't know if I take the value. All right, let's do this last one right here. This Cardinals team. Come on. Give us great value right here that we can truly sink our teeth into. Here we go. Points by the Cardinals in the first half over 13.5. Man, oh man, right on that cusp, folks. So if you're feeling good that they could put up a lot of points, we know the Cardinals can. We'll take that one. We will take the Texans over 7.5 points in the first half, and we will take the Cardinals over 13.5 points in the first half. They get it done, folks. So our prop bets are back, folks. Points by a team in the first half. We absolutely love them. Hit it at an insane clip last season, and we're ready to do the same here. You can parlay them. It's fantastic. Make some money. Texans over 7.5 points in the first half. Cardinals over 13.5 points in the first half as well. Alrighty, folks. We're out of here today on time. How crazy is that? Man, oh man, we did like a 2.5 hour show the other day. Oh my goodness. All these shows have been going long, but that's the NFL season, baby. We got stuff to talk about. We got to talk about it. We've been, waiting 8 months to talk about this stuff. Now it's finally here. We're taking advantage. 1.5 shows, 1:50 shows, 2.5 hour shows, 3 hour shows. 3 hour shows? Watch out next Wednesday, folks. We'll do 3 hours. Don't test us. Do not tempt us to do a 3 hour show. We will do it. Alrighty, folks, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We are back live tomorrow, noon Eastern, doing it all over again and seeing what happens in the sports world from 1:30 right now till noon tomorrow. We'll see you, folks. Have a great one, and try to make some money this week, folks.